What's going on, everybody? This is Blockchain Bullz, and today we're going to talk about a really exciting cryptocurrency project that I've been meaning to talk about in detail on this channel for a long time, because I know that once you guys realize what they're working on and who's behind it, who's the investors, you're going to be like, dang, what's going on with this one? So again, this is not professional financial advice. This is a deep dive into a very interesting cryptocurrency project called Reserve Rights. They're working on a stablecoin, but the reserve rights token or coin here is actually a governance coin. The RSV is more the stable coin. So this is really interesting, and we're going to take a look at this. I first introduced you guys to this on this video here, mid-cap altcoin moonshots in 2021. You can see the coins that I mentioned in this. If you guys want to go to the homepage and look for that under uploads, mid-cap stars. You guys may want to do that. I'll try to put a link in the description too, or in the comments. But let's dive in here and take a look at RSR. So you can see RSR is on an absolute parabolic moonshot here. I mean, this is the second time it's really pumped, but now it's in price discovery, all-time high, sitting at a $443 million market cap, which isn't, you know, this is a mid-capper. This is not a low-cap coin, okay? So it hasn't quite hit the top tier, top 20, top 50 yet, sitting at number 61, but it's moving. And what you have with something like this reserve rights coin, RSR, it's moving. So you're getting in on something that's already en route. It's en route to the next level of where it's headed, and rightfully so, because once you see what's going on with it, you'll understand a lot more. So where you can pick this up, well, you're going to have to use probably Uniswap if you're in the United States, but everywhere else you could probably get it on Binance. I'm not seeing it anywhere else yet, but that could change at any given time. You could also get it on 1inch exchange, but wait, give it some time. You'll be able to pick it up on these centralized exchanges. But for now, you're basically a Uniswap guy if you're in the United States. If you're outside the United States, you're doing good. This Bitmart, I don't know about this exchange entirely, but I think you can actually check out Bitmart. That's up to you. I cannot vouch for it one way or another, but Uniswap does work pretty good. So let's talk about RSR, what you need to know. And it is a token, so it may change to a coin at some point, obviously. But it's an ERC20 token, I believe, built on Ethereum. It could be doing something with the interoperability with maybe going to maybe Polkadot at some point, or Cardano, who knows, we'll see. But I believe right now it's an ERC20 token, because I know I can pick it up on Uniswap. But let's dive in here and take a look. So here you are. Reserve is a flexible pool of stable coins. So the need for stable coins is there because you need a backup to replace the US dollar, which is becoming, I mean, let's be real. I mean, I'm not trying to talk any sort of noise. It's still the most stable it's still the most stable currency in the world. It still is the global reserve. There is people out there taking bets against it, but technology says that we got to move forward and we've got to find a decentralized global reserve. That means going away from the sovereign country reserves, China, US, EU, Euro, all that, and going to a decentralized reserve. And so you have a technology like this that is really working on finding a way to create a stable stable currency. That's the main goal. Regardless of if it's a cryptocurrency, a fiat currency, a gold-backed currency, in order to be an efficient everyday use currency, it needs to have stability. And when you're pumping new dollars into the system and you're feeding the system like that, you have volatility, so you have inflation, which leads to hyperinflation, or on the contrary, you could have deflation. So the big thing here, the technology upgrade, is going to be a stable coin that works, that's not pegged to the US dollar, and that's what the goal is with this. So designed to reduce risk through diversification and decentralized governance. Governance, that's the big word, right? Reserve is just an app for buying, holding, and spending digital dollars. Available in Venezuela, Argentina, and Colombia. Places that have seen hyperinflation, right? I mean, Venezuela, I mean, you see people with chunks of cash in their hands in Venezuela, and it's basically worthless cash. And, you know, that's a case of extreme, hyperinflation. But when you come onto this website, you can watch this video. I think they do an all right job. It definitely is an introduction to the project. So I do recommend you at least looking at that if you decide to join the community and start to build the network out by becoming an investor in this project, whether you put $100 into it, $200 into it, or who knows how much you could have. Maybe some of you guys got $1 million you're ready to throw into this thing. I don't know. Again, not professional financial advice. Some of you may say, hey, I don't need to invest in something like this. I'm just here to watch from the sidelines and see how this thing pans out. But that's RSR, Ready Reserve Token. Okay, so protect your money. Reserve enables people and businesses in countries with high inflation. We just talked about inflation. So inflation is the reason why you've got a project like this. To protect their money by moving it out of broken currencies into a stable digital currency. Right now, Bitcoin is seeing a rise in price because people are getting out of the dollar, getting out of cash, which is losing its purchasing power and going into a store of value. Typically, they would go into gold, but now they're going into digital gold because it's safer, and I'll tell you why. People are actually buying gold bars and then finding out that it's not 100% gold. It's just gold plated. Or they're buying gold and they're not able to really sell it. Whereas with Bitcoin, it's a digital gold. It's way easier to hold and sell. And it's completely set up on the blockchain with all these ledgers. And it's just more efficient, really. So a digital gold has like stepped in there to be this, Johnny on the spot, really. And that's been Bitcoin. And that's why it's going up. So people are getting out of the inflationary currencies and going into Bitcoin. So send money across borders. That's really important because right now it's, how long does it take to send an international transfer? 3 days, 7 days sometimes? I mean, yeah, you could send it with PayPal, but you're going to get hit with tons of fees. But still, it's not instantaneous. And the reason is because there's lots of intermediaries. There's third parties that have to be involved in all of that. And when you're able to remove that and send it almost instantaneously, that's a financial technology upgrade. So sending money across borders is really important. So Reserve makes it cost effective to send money across borders. This enables people to send money home to their families and businesses to pay international suppliers in a stable currency. So whether you're doing business or whether you're sending money home, you might need to send money across borders. Easily accept payments. Reserve allows businesses to accept payments in a stable digital currency to enable them. So these are the foundation building blocks that you're building on. But we need to get more into it and see what's really going on here. So you can again watch this right here from the London Business School. Now, here's what you have. 2 tokens power the Reserve protocol. RSV, so this is the stable coin. The stable cryptocurrency that is economically and legally robust at any scale, decentralized, 100% asset-backed, and funded by Silicon Valley investors. Okay, now you have RSR, the fluctuating protocol token that plays a role in stabilizing RSV and confers the cryptographic right to purchase excess reserve tokens as the network grows. Now, here is where it gets really interesting, and this is where your attention starts to really zone in. Yes, you have the team. I love when they have transparency. They're right there on the homepage. They're letting you know, hey, these are the people behind the project that are building this technology. And then you come down here and you look at the investors. Well, you got Coinbase. Regardless of how you feel about Coinbase, they're definitely a power player. And then you have this guy, Peter Thiel. Now let's further examine this Peter Thiel investment because after all, he was the guy who played a big role in PayPal when it was first coming up, right? So let's take a look. Oh, right here. So you have Coinbase, billionaire Peter Thiel make new reserve stablecoin. So Coinbase and Silicon Valley investor Peter Thiel are among over 40 groups, funds, and angel investors back in the latest addition to the cryptocurrency ecosystem stablecoin arsenal, a new stablecoin called Reserve, which closed $5 million in its first round of funding. The stablecoin, which is pegged 1-to-1 to the value of USD, is in the developmental stages with a team composed of 20 people, including Google and OpenAI veterans. So they are saying that it is pegged to the USD, but I think long term they're looking to decouple from that. Right now, the USD is the most efficient monetary policy, but I don't think they want to be pegged to the USD as in the sense of the sovereign currency. Because I think that's not decentralization, is it? Because if one country controls all the currency manipulation and everything going on, that's not decentralization, that's central banking. So I think ultimately they want to move away from the USD. Look, I'm not against the USD. I'm just saying that decentralization and sovereign currency is not the same thing. It's not, because one has to be decentralized or centralized. The team cites competing with failing fiat currencies, see USD being fiat currency, as a project goal, identifying 16 countries where rapid deflation causes a significant loss of value and prevents people from saving effectively. So it's like, yeah, you're working harder and you're losing purchasing power. That's not very good, right? So people in some of these developing countries are really getting hit by that. And you can see this was a story at CCN. And there was also more news on Market Watch about this, how Peter Thiel crypto startup is set to deliver a more than 6,500% return. This was written up in May 24th, 2019. And if we just take it back and look at the chart on this sucker right here, so you could have bought into this below a penny. I mean, it makes you want to know why you weren't paying attention to it back then, right? I mean, it's if you would have bought in it below a penny, currently sitting at 4 cents, you know, you would have got in, what was the market cap then? $10 million, all the way up to 446 billion. So I think you like to see that rise in price over time. I mean, we've seen that with Chainlink that ran flat for a while. A lot of these new projects, they come in, they go flat for however long. I mean, it's different when it's not a bull market. When it's a bull market, these gems, these low cap gems, they get picked up real quickly, and then they just start shooting up really quickly, go parabolic, right? And they just, you know, they never look back. A project like this is in that stage where it's kind of like mid-tier, already been discovered, and now it's just really starting to like settle into its zone. It's kind of like what we saw with Cardano in 2017, 2018, right? Some of these other projects we've seen do that. Like I said, Chainlink, we've seen that with Binance Coin, where they just keep gaining momentum over time. Even you could throw Stellar Lumens in there way back when. You saw this with XRP long time ago, because XRP is a really old project actually. But reserve rights, you know, it's the new era. It's this layer 2. It's this next generation of cryptocurrency projects. And it just seems like this thing could go up into the top 50 easily, which is the next belt buckle notch. But after that, you know, we're talking top 20, maybe even top 10. Although I'm not sure how long they're going to stay as a token, because at some point I would imagine they have to go to a coin, at least for RSV, which let's see if RSV is currently calling themselves a coin. They're still a token. You know, but at some point, you know, you've got to be a coin in order to do that. But it's easy to, like, you know, hit the market and then do a transfer, which is that interoperability where you're able to, you know, eventually get on your own blockchain. But starting out as an ERC20 token, it's a great onboarding ramp into the blockchain space. And then as time goes by, you realize you're onto something, your technology advances, and then you grow into your own position. So when you're looking at the protocol here, the initial production version of the reserve protocol will operate in a substantially centralized way, and over time each protocol component will be mitigated or migrated on-chain and released from control by founding team, eventually becoming fully decentralized. So in the beginning, don't be surprised if you see them, the creators of the project, holding onto the coins for a while before they finally release it, kind of like what you saw with Litecoin with Satoshi Light. Charlie Lee held onto a large bag. You even see that with XRP, where the founders of XRP or Ripple hold on to a large portion of the XRP. But then in order to really become decentralized, they've got to release it, and they can't be the biggest bag holders, because then they can manipulate the market. So they're telling you right here, full transparency. Right now it's fairly centralized, but eventually it will be fully decentralized. So the centralized phase, which reserve is backed by a small number of collateral tokens, each of which is tokenized US dollar. Okay. The decentralized phase, the reserve is backed by a changing basket of assets in a decentralized way, but still stabilized in price with respect to the US dollar. The independent phase, where reserve is no longer pegged to the US dollar. This is where I talked about decoupling from the US dollar and going into its own coin, so to speak, with the intent of stabilizing its real purchasing power regardless of fluctuations in the value of the dollar. So we talked about the tokens here, and you guys can go on their website and just click right here, the protocol, to read over all this. I mean, you can access it through reserve.org, or you just go right here to CoinMarketCap and click on the article, right? I mean, some of you guys would be interested in reading this, of course. Reserve token, so interacts, 3 kinds of tokens. RSV, a stable cryptocurrency that can be held and spent the way we use US dollars and other stable fiat money. RSR, a cryptocurrency used to facilitate the stability of reserve token. That's what we're talking about. Then you have this collateral token, other assets that are held by reserve smart contract in order to back the value of reserve token. You know, there's another technology that's out there that's trying to do the similar thing with stable coins. It's called rebasing. I've invested in some rebasing projects. I at first was really excited with rebasing, but then as I stepped into it, I realized that, be careful with rebase coins. I mean, you can rebase. I'm not going to get too much into it, but rebase is certainly interesting. I know people who've made money, and I've known people who lost everything on their investment, and they didn't quite understand it. So rebase is really a challenge. How the reserve token is stabilized. If demand goes down for the reserve token, prices are expected to fall. Secondary markets, what happens then? Well, that's a long story, and you would probably want to know, but suppose the redemption price of reserve is $1. If the price of reserve on the open market is 0.98, arbitrageurs will be incentivized to buy it up and redeem it with reserve smart contract for $1 worth of collateral tokens. What you're talking about here is really the tokenomics, the economics behind the token. They'll continue buying on open markets until there is no money to be made, which is when the market price matches the redemption price. So these tokenomics can be kind of complex to understand at first. It's just like understanding anything in economics. Some people get it right off the bat with microeconomics or macroeconomics. Something like the tokenomics here, it is hard to wrap your mind around at first, but you'll want to read through this maybe a couple times before you fully get it. How the reserve protocol is capitalized, we already talked about that. The reserve protocol holds the collateral tokens that back the reserve token. With new reserves are sold on the market. The assets used by market participants to purchase the new reserves are held as collateral. This process keeps the reserve collateralized at 1-to-1 ratio, even as supply increases. So you have a lot of different things that you'll want to learn, but this probably, when you go on their website or you pause the video right here, is the economics in motion, right? And some of you guys are going to be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm looking at here. And I understand why, because you're talking about stabilizing the coin price. And it really is a bit unique because this is a whole nother economic model than what you're used to create a stable currency. But as time goes by, you're going to understand how this works, especially as it starts to gain market appreciation and respect. But right now, they're basically saying how they stabilize it. And you have the vault, the excess reserves, maintaining the vault ratio. These are things that will come together for you over time. Now, if you're going to invest in a project like that, you can join their Telegram or wherever you want to go to be a part of that. But in essence, they're headquartered in Oakland, California, which is cross bay from San Francisco. So they're on the other side. I call it the East Bay. Some people call it the North Bay. But I just call it the East Bay, but not too many people from the Bay Area call it the East Bay, even Oakland. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of RSR. I tried to break it down, the technicalities, but basically you're just really investing in a protocol that is trying to achieve a stable coin, and they're backed by Peter Thiel. And so you'd pick them up on Uniswap, something that maybe you put, who knows how much you invest or you watch from the sideline, but the point is, now you know about RSR. I'm invested in RSR because I understood a little bit more about the demand for a stable coin, and I tried rebasing. I didn't really like rebase. I know that the stable coins with USDC and Tether are a little bit frustrating for people, so I can see why something like this, and especially being backed by Coinbase and Peter Thiel, that means the best in the business are going after this one to really try to dial it in and make it happen, if it's even possible. But of course it's possible. Anything's possible. If we can land on the moon, if we can go to Mars, we can do this stablecoin stuff. It's called a financial technology upgrade. Of course it's possible. So I'm excited about RSR. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. First time to Blockchain Bulls, subscribe. Watch some of our other videos. Got lots of videos on here. What is staking crypto? You guys know you need to know that. Top coins for staking. Staking is a big thing. Polkadot. You know me, I've become pretty bullish on Polkadot, especially with these ETH miner fees. So we'll see you guys on the next one.